Hi, this is my third uh, video on my weight loss journey and how I was successful at losing, I don't know, 50 to 70 pounds while paralyzed, which I still am and have been for 30 years, but I was always thin until one day I wasn't, and I was in a pickle because of, not being able to exercise or whatever. And even people exercising are having so much trouble. So that's why I'm sharing my journey. So this is the third video blog, and it's about I'm writing a book about all my tips called Winning at Weight Loss, and I'll let you know when that's published. It'll be on Amazon first. And this is my my blog. I'm a blog writer too, and I have one blog called just lynnsuzek.wordpress.com. It's I named it honestly because whatever I want to blog about, it's not necessarily about anything in particular. So that one is called Honestly, and you'll see the link for it at the bottom of this YouTube. Taking up where I left off last time was I had been on the HCG diet, and I explained that in the last video, down to 500 calories a day. I had ended up in the hospital. It worked, but I ended up with the hyponatremia, which is loss of, I washed out all the sodium drinking so much water. And when you drink, oh, by the way, being paralyzed, if you are handicapped or elderly or anything, you're like, how did you drink so much water? You'd have to be just in bed all day getting cathed, okay? Because that's what happens when you're paralyzed. You have to get catheterized. And I don't know about everybody else, but I had found years ago, I found a indwelling that I use during the day, and so just so you know, cath bag makes it. I want to use it during the day. I don't like to keep it on. I have to be personal here. With weight loss, you're gonna hear some personal stuff, but it's kind of important. Bodily functions and stuff all have to be shared when you're talking about weight loss. Anyway, for me, I not being able to run to the bathroom and all that, needing the cath bag, emptying that, just anyway, allows me to drink as much water as I need to. And water is just so important, you have to. So I started using that at some point years ago, found out I could get that. So that's just an answer to a question that some people might have. Well, how do I drink so much water? I have to go to the bathroom all the time. Well, pray about it. I don't know. You're going to have to, drink a lot of water. The next thing that happened for me, like I said, I went from the HCG diet, which was, I got in trouble with that and needed to start having the Gatorade. Promised my husband I wouldn't keep going on that diet. They were calling it a crazy diet, but it worked. And then I talk about how I had to get over my own wrong thinking and others and go against all that. And then I changed my diet to a 3-week diet, and that you can find that online by Brian Flatt, and I liked it. It's aggressive, pound a day. And then I got a Fitbit, which told me how many calories I was burning, which was awesome because I was only burning 12 to 1,300 calories a day, which encouraged me that I really do need to be down to like 500 or 600 if I want to lose 500 or 600 calories a day, which scares people. And Brian Flatt helps you to, and I just believe that the fasting is biblical. Basically, as I was doing this 500 calories a day, kind of trying to hide how little you're eating from people because they get scared. And um, when I told my husband what I was doing, he's like, so basically you're fasting 500 calories. It's like, it's going to take something radical to do this. And I am going to do it. So I did it, and there's directions in there, you know, different ways to do it. And you get interested in, my advice is to get interested in something else other than food in your life. You know, how much time we spend thinking about food, cooking food, planning food. I hate diets that you have to think about food more than you were before. That's the whole point. Get your mind off food. So I plan to eat, but then, you know, drinking a lot of water, and I add like nutrition to my water, like green drink and super beets and stuff. And I don't feel hungry. And then when I do feel like something's happening, I feel like you got to get used to the idea that being hungry for a few minutes while your body shifts to fat, and you can actually feel yourself losing weight. It's exciting. It's like, oh, it's working. So change your mindset from I'm starving myself, this is torture for my body, poor me, pity, pity, pity party, to this is exciting. I can feel my body changing. As long as you know you're not going to pass out, you know, you just feed yourself. You just got to count the calories. You can. It's easier for me not to eat all day and just have one small meal to do the 500 calories, and you have to add up the coffee, and coffee's allowed on that 3-week diet, and that's really important because I like coffee. And anyway, drinking the water and the coffee, and lowering your calories. And then the next thing I want to say I did also was, if you're not having bowel movements, you're not losing weight. And of course, being on low calories, you may not have bowel movements, but I started using suppositories, which you may not have to, but whatever you got to do to keep yourself in not constipated, you have to find what works for you. I mean, being paralyzed, I'm supposed to be using suppositories and you know, making sure my bowels are moving, and that is huge. It's a huge necessary thing. So magnesium is really helpful for when your body's under stress, losing weight. Like, I have a whole thing on that too. Lack of magnesium can cause big problems. So magnesium keeps your bowels on the looser, like softer side, so that you can go a lot. So people that are just different suggestions, fiber and whatever it takes. Plus, if you're on mostly vegetables, to keep your calorie count down, things should be moving along. So remember, you know, you have to have the bowel, you have to find a way to have bowel movements, I'd say often, especially when you first start, you're getting rid of some stuff. So, like I said, I bought the Fitbit, and it was awesome, helpful. I also recommend being on the, I ended up, fortunately, I was so excited to get a scale that helped, that I was able to, I can weigh myself because I have a lift, an electronic lift, to help me get into bed. I have caregivers, and there's now, I have this scale that's attached to my lift. If you are handicapped and you can't get on the scale, I hope that you can find a way. And if you can't, you're just going to have to, it's just, if you aren't handicapped, I do recommend that you get on the scale. A lot of people are not doing that. But if you know, if that's something that's that makes it harder when you aren't seeing the results, because you can see, and it's very encouraging to see your weight going down that fast. So, my battery is getting low, but excuse me. Okay. Okay, so I had, as of, it came off pretty quickly, and as of when I did this blog, I had made it down to 130 pounds, which is a lot higher than I was in high school, and I still wasn't done, but it was a major accomplishment. And I'm down to more like hovering around 124, 125, and I'm gonna, you know, I basically know what it takes now to get the job done, and I do want to be lower so I can, you know, fluctuate down there around 120, 122 rather than up here, because I don't like my tummy is still in the way, sitting down. I still got a tummy, but I look whole. I got rid of all my overweight clothes. It was just awesome. I feel so much better, and I, you know, like the way I look, and it just really changes your life. So I'm gonna see if there's more to talk about that are really important. Talking about the scale, and Fitbit was huge. Getting a scale or being on the scale, and the bowel movements. And that's all I talk about in the blog, and I'm going to review some of my other things that I was saying in the book, and I'll get back to you on that. I think that's all I have to say, is I made it. That's what I did. I stuck to it, and it was a very big mental change. So thanks for joining me, and I hope all this helps. And I encourage you to do rapid weight loss and not be afraid, and not get discouraged by other people telling you you shouldn't be, you know, going without food. Fasting is actually a compassionate thing on your body. Your body, I read intermittent fasting books. There's a couple of them, and they talk about all the benefits of fasting and what happens when you're fasting, and your body is, you know, starting to repair itself. You feel, you know, just a lot of benefits. So going longer periods, like dinner to dinner, is one 24-hour fast, a couple times a week. And this is like for long term. And then if you can't do that, it's okay, because there's different kinds. There's also, I find it easy to go from dinner to noon the next day, but I can have my coffee, and a lot of people don't even want to have breakfast anyway, so don't think you have to. But if you really like to have breakfast, there's anyway other suggestions, so you can do it, and I hope this helps. See ya soon.